Hey, Ben Sissel here with SVRA, coming to you from Portland International Raceway with the SVRA Race Report. This has been an unbelievable event with thousands of spectators. We've had Jaguar here, and they were doing the autocross in the infield. We had Land Rover. They actually used the PIR motocross track to show the elements and to show the off-road capabilities of Land Rover, Range Rover machines. And we probably had hundreds of people go through those two, autocross and the off-road experience with Land Rover. I want to say first and foremost, the culture here, the spectators. There's been a vintage event at this time of year, I think, for about 20 to 30 years. So the spectators were ready for it. The culture of people that were here, that were enthusiastic, that were car knowledgeable, was amazing. And there were literally thousands of spectators filling the bleachers, walking around, excited to talk to all the drivers. We had over 160 vintage race cars for this event. And this is definitely an event that we're coming back to next year and that we can grow. There was a car show of over 220 classic cars or interesting cars, all kinds of different people meeting. But what was neat is they were showing their car and they were talking to all the other car show people, but then they were walking over and watching some of the car races, the vintage races. If you entered the car show, you could do the parade laps, and we had all kinds of cars doing parade laps around the track. And then they'd walk over to the paddocks and talk to the owners of the drivers of the vintage race cars, which was amazing. This was the first time SVRA on the West Coast has done an enduro. This morning was the first time. It was hugely successful. Lots of enthusiasm from the drivers because they had never done something like that before. That was a lot of fun to watch. We had historic Trans Am here, one of my favorite groups. The cars that were driven by the greats back in the heyday of racing, and definitely one of the best periods of Trans Am racing. And then we had just great racing in general. The groups I really want to point out is groups 3 and 4 was wildly entertaining with a great vast array of cars. Groups 6 and 10, we combined groups 6 and 10 with some great racing. The old American muscle cars were battling out with the Porsches. Because of the layout of the track, it had some long straightaways but some pretty intense braking zones. So that was a lot of fun to watch. This weekend I really enjoyed the Group 9, the open wheel cars. There were some close racing with positions being swapped constantly. And then always my favorite, Group 1. We had some great cars in Group 1, and we had some great battles, especially with the minis. The minis had some great battles, and then the minis and midgets, you know, like they always do, went at it. And it was really a fantastic weekend. We had great weather. Everybody was enthusiastic. Last night was fantastic. We had a really nice dinner with some barbecue, and then we went over to we made a little amphitheater in the middle of the infield, and we had what we think might be the first ever drive-in rock concert. We're going to try to start that as a tradition. People would pull up their cars and sit in their cars with the top down and watch the concert while other families and everybody else spread out their blankets in the front. We had Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. Playing all of his hits. It was a fantastic, little over an hour concert, followed by a wonderful fireworks display with some fireworks that I'd never seen before. And what made it even cooler is that the fireworks were going off during sunset. And it was a beautiful Oregonian sunset last night. This was a fantastic event, I will say, to not be politically correct. My favorite event of the year so far. This is something we can really grow. The spectators are great. The culture here is great. Can't wait to come back next year, and now we're on to the Glen.